In a big move by the Reserve Bank of India, 2000 rupee currency notes have been withdrawn from circulation with immediate effect. But the respite is that the 2000 rupee denomination notes will continue to be legal tender, and those who have these notes can start returning them to the banks. Government sources tell India today that the RBI took this decision because of an increased flow of fake currency in the market. This operation was called the clean note policy. Not just that, sources say printing of 2000 rupee notes was stopped in 2018-19 and is considering that it is not a denomination which is commonly used for transactions. They think that this should not have much of an impact on the Aam Aadmi. Joining us for perspective on this big breaking story which is being discussed, dissected all across the country, I want to welcome first Siddharth Zarabi, Managing Editor at Business Today Television. With us for perspective is India Today's National Affairs Editor Rahul Srivastav. Thank you for joining us. Also Anand Adhikari, Banking Editor at Business Today. Saurav Majumdar, the Editor of Business Today magazine, joining us as well. And I'll go across in a bit for some political reactions too. But Siddharth, to you first. Everyone watching, the first question that's coming in their mind, is this Demo 2.0?
Well, it is a withdrawal 1.0. Because this is the first time that the 2000 rupee note is being withdrawn. There is a big question hanging in the air. What happens after the 30th September deadline? Let me state it up front. As of now, in the press release and subsequently clarifications from the Reserve Bank and other sources in the Government of India maintain that it is legal tender. But there are several questions about that because as we saw in demonetization, there would be some number of notes that may not be deposited or exchanged. So that's the big question in the air, but it is withdrawal 1.0. The 2000 rupee note is perhaps the shortest lived currency note in Indian monetary history.
Rahul Srivastav, we're seeing politics speak over this government decision from the Congress to other opposition parties attacking the government for the suddenness of this decision?
Rahul, the joke going around in BJP circles is that a lot of money exchange hands in Karnataka and all those who got it might be in trouble. But on a serious note, see, if you see what the RBI is stating in its notes, it's very clear. One, it is saying that most of the notes were issued prior to March 2017 and they have reached the end of the cycle of 4 to 5 years. Second, they are also saying that it is not a denomination which is very popular. What I would like to say, I think Siddharth will also agree, the banking system has been slowly sucking out the 2000 rupee note. They don't recirculate it. Once it reaches the coffers, they don't put it back into the system. It is largely now a currency which is among the hands of those who are well-heeled. Among the masses and the middle class, it's not a very popular denomination. It was always supposed to be a currency to mitigate the crisis emerging out of the absence of the 1,000 or 500 crores to speedily recash the economy. It was never supposed to be a mainstay. Eventually, the Indian economy is moving towards the American economy, where the senior-most currency is the, say in America, is the $100 note. Something like similar that now 500 rupee may remain as the most popular currency in the country.
Very quick interjection here. Pink is the new black. And there are, I think there's a political signification of this withdrawal happening prior to the big election next year.
Saurav Majumdar, who do you think is most likely to be impacted? The government's suggestion is that the common man doesn't really use the 2000 denomination note, which is true. But oftentimes when we go to the ATM, and even if you're withdrawing just 10,000 rupees, what comes out is a 2000 rupee note. So that's not really high net individuals. That's just anybody going to the bank ATM and trying to withdraw money, and 2000 rupee notes are coming out. And what could be, in your perception, the impact on the economy at the moment with these notes going out?
Well, Rahul, let me clarify 2 points. I think those 2000 rupee notes coming out will now be gradually a thing of the past, as it's clearly the intent of RBI and the government. But let me also draw your attention to the fact that over time, 2016 was when demonetization happened. Today, we are in May 2023, and we all know the kind of leapfrogging technology has brought about in the financial system by way of UPI, by way of digital payments. And we've written about that in Business Today as a cover story as well. And it continues. It's just a complete juggernaut, which is sort of moving ahead very quickly. So even the smallest rest of the people are now equipped with a QR code and with a digital payment option. So I think it will certainly not impact the smaller and the middle class. Many of our payments we make even on the QR code itself. So my question, essentially, it is, I think, a move to look at the black money, the fake currency point, which you mentioned. I think these are the elements which are being targeted. And gradually, if you've seen that RBI has given statistics to show how the use of the 2,000 rupee note, and like Rahul Srivastav rightly said, it was probably meant as an interim thing to recash the economy after the huge hit of demonetization. So I think it is going to certainly not hit the middle class and the sort of the poorer people or the lower middle class who are now equipped with digital payment system, with the smartphone economy really booming.
I want to go across to political reactions now. Sanju Verma, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, squaring off against Supriya Shrinate from the Congress. Sanju Verma, to you first, explain the rationale from the government's perspective in this decision which has been announced this evening, that the 2,000 rupee note will no longer be available in the market and everybody who has these notes has to return it to a bank before the 30th of September. To some extent, this feels like demonetization once again.
Rahul, I would like to actually take up from where your colleague Siddharth Zarabi left. He made a very interesting point, and I quite subscribe to what he said. What has happened today on the 19th of May 2023 is not demonetization 2.0. What happened on the 8th of November 2016 was demonetization, because the very basic definition of demonetization is that a particular currency stops becoming legal tender with immediate effect, which is what happened last time around on the 8th of November 2016. As things stand now, the RBI, if you read the fine print, it says that there is a window of almost 4.5 months till the 30th of September 2023, wherein the 2,000 rupee notes will continue to be a unit of exchange. They will enjoy legal tender. You and me can do business in 2,000 rupee notes, just like we used to do, say, till 2 days back or till 24 hours back. Now, whether after 30th of September 2023, these 2,000 rupee notes will continue to be legal tender or not, on that, currently the RBI is quiet. It has only said that it encourages people to keep depositing the 2,000 rupee notes with a maximum upper threshold of 20,000 rupees by way of, a single time exchange. Now, I think there will be some variations that will come in so that whatever opacity is there, that is stripped out of the entire equation. But this is not demonetization. This is calibrated withdrawal of the 2,000 rupee notes. Just 10 seconds more. Please let's be very clear that the 2,000 rupee notes accounted for 22.6% of the total value of notes in circulation in 2020, only 17.3% of the total value in circulation by 2021, only 13.8% of the total notes in circulation as of March 2022, and as of March 2023, 2,000 rupee notes account for barely 10.8% of the total.
Yeah, it's about 3.62 lakh crore rupees. 3.62 lakh crore rupees as of March 31, 2023. Supriya Shrinate, now there are a couple of things. One, the likes of Sushil Modi in Parliament have said publicly that 2,000 rupee notes should be taken back. If the idea was that you move away from big ticket notes, then put it into action. So this is not something unlike demo which came as a bolt out of the blue. Here people have by and large known that 2,000 rupee notes at some point in time will be demonetized. And secondly, the government thinks this is to attack fake currency and black money, which would possibly come into play in the assembly elections and then the Lok Sabha elections next year. So it's better that all parties go to the polls with smaller notes which are easier to track.
Rahul, I would believe I have a little more understanding of economy and finance that perhaps I'm given credit for. I will say 2 or 3 things and please listen to them carefully. This is the horror of demonetization that has resurfaced. You might want to be soft on the government. I will not be. Because this completely tells you what a knee-jerk reaction, trigger happy this government is. First things first. No, I completely disagree with you. The government never said 2,000 rupee will be withdrawn. You are conjecturing that. The government never said. Somebody may have suggested it in parliament is another thing. It was never said that the 2,000 currency will be withdrawn. I also want to, put certain facts on the table because when demonetization happened, we discussed it threadbare. There were four goalposts that kept changing. Black money. No, black money did not come down. The cash in circulation, in November 2016 was 17 lakh 74,000 crore rupees. You know what was the cash in circulation at the end of December 2022, 5 months back? 32 lakhs 42,000 crore rupees, almost double. So cash has not come down. Fake currencies, we are seeing counterfeit currencies all the time. The RBI itself has accepted that has not been achieved. You are talking about, I think the one thing that you said was black money. What black money are we talking about? 2016 ke baad, there were state elections, there were general elections. Why did the government not wake up to the realities of that and do something then? This is a trigger-happy government. Because I will also tell you, in the same breath, what did demonetization achieve? Demonetization, as and when it happened, 99% currency came back to the banks. All that did not come to the RBI was 16,000 crore rupees. The cost of printing new currency was 21,000 crore rupees. The cost of recalibrating ATMs was even higher. So net, the government was a loser. The state exchequer was a loser. It was borne by the taxpayers' money, rich and poor.
Okay, once again, Supriya Shirley.
GDP growth rate went down from 8.2 to 4.1%. 35 lakhs jobs were extinguished immediately, and multiple MSMEs and
You've leveled several charges, Supriya Shirley. Just 1 second. Let's do this one at a time. I'll get a political counter, then I'll get a counter from our journalists and see what they have to say about it. But to Sanju Verma, the Congress says, okay, Supriya, allow me to speak. The Congress says there's a trigger-happy government. There was no indication so far that 2,000 rupee notes will be done away with. The cash in circulation has gone up post demonetization, so it's not as if cash in circulation or black money in the economy has actually come down. Sanju Verma, respond to that.
Rahul, I'm appalled that the Congress panelist says she has an understanding of economy. I must say she does not even have the basic understanding of arithmetic, much less common sense. What was the size of the Indian economy in 2016? It was $2.2 trillion. Today, what is the size of the Indian economy? It is $3.5 trillion. In the last 6.5 to 7 odd years, we've seen a 59% growth in the overall size of the economy. Now, when the size of the economy is 3.5 lakh crore, it is but naturally there's a 59% jump in absolute terms in the GDP. There will be some kind of a concomitant rise in notes in circulation also. Point number one. Point number two, very quickly. Tell me, what is the total number of notes in circulation today in terms of volume? It is 13,053 crore notes. Out of 13,053 crore notes, only 214 crore notes are 2,000 rupee notes, which means in volume terms, the amount of 2,000 rupee notes in circulation is a measly 1.6%. So for you to say that 1.6% of the 2,000 rupee notes in circulation will have a disproportionate impact on the economy is crying wolf. Point number three, what will demonetization, what has demonetization achieved? Because this has been a disruptive and innovative reform. I will not even say that it brought about a huge attitudinal change and people realize it's no longer fashionable to keep money under their mattresses. But let us talk numbers. The number of taxpayers and tax assessees was 3.8 crore in financial year 2016-17. Today it is 8.6 crore. That is a 126% jump.
Okay.
The informal economy, please Rahul, give me 30 seconds more. The informal economy was 30 to 40% of GDP in 2016. The informal economy today is less than 20% of GDP. And
how do you know that?
The most important point, thanks to demonetization, more than 4 lakh shell companies were struck off from the registrar of companies. Thanks to demonetization, we actually saw, I will give you numbers, 1.4 lakh crore of unaccounted wealth coming back, 53,000 crore worth of
No, one second. Before I get another counter from
25,000
Supriya
crore
Shirnet.
undisclosed
No, one
money
second.
in foreign banks
Siddharth
coming back
Zarabi,
into the
on this
ecosystem.
issue of whether demonetization reduced black money in the economy.
Well, there aren't enough numbers. We have seen very significant seizures of large sums of money, including 500 and 2,000 rupee notes. I just want to add one point here, and I'm deviating from your question, Rahul. 3.62 lakh crore. I've been trying to do some numbers to be exchanged in lots of 20,000 rupees. Imagine the dozens of millions of transactions and visits that will have to be made over a period of roughly 130 days within the banks to exchange.
So the country, there are just 16 centers.
Also, you can't go to any bank.
No.
No, only 16 places you can go to.
Centers.
So the key point here is that this facility is available also at 19 regional offices.
Yes.
Rahul, I don't see that point about 16 centers. I think it clearly says that all banks have been advised.
No, all banks and 19 centers of the RBI.
Yeah. I think that is not the question. From a consumer point of view, 20,000 seems to be an odd number, Rahul. Because even if you have just 2 lakh rupees of...
but this is to catch those who supposedly would have lots of 2,000 rupee notes.
No, sure. But if you have just 2 lakh rupees in your pocket and you're a clean guy, you still need to make 10 visits.
But that's ridiculous.
So that's the point. So
so there will be people who will be watching who may have 50, 60,000, 1 lakh rupees, some of which is in 2,000 rupee notes. Now you need to go again and again, queue up at a bank.
Yes, that's
that feels, Sanju Verma, like demo again. That's what it feels like.
Rahul, I just,
I'm coming
Rahul,
to
let me
Supriya
just
in a
come in
moment.
here.
Yeah, very quickly because I have to go to Supriya. Just
No,
respond
Rahul,
to my question.
I want to ask you one thing. When demonetization actually happened in November 2016, and it is very important for you to dwell on this point because there has been a paradigm shift in the total nature of the beast in the last 6 to 7 years. Siddharth will amplify this point. The number of digital transactions in October 2016, just 1 month before demonetization, were 92,000 trades with a total value of 48 crore.
Sanju, sorry, I'm interrupting you. Sanju Verma, just a quick question. Sorry, this is Siddharth. Just allow me that question. Why just a 4-month window? Why not a 1-year window?
Okay, that's a relevant question. I will answer that. Just please bear with me for 20 seconds. First, let me tell you, I was saying the nature of the beast has changed. The number of digital transactions, Rahul and Siddharth, were only 92,000 trades in October 2016 with a total value of 48 crore. Rahul, please tell me what is the number of digital trades we do every single month now. Last month we did digital trades of 875 crore digital transactions in volume terms. Value terms, it was a whopping 14.
So Supriya Shirnet, respond to these 2 points. One, the fact that 2,000 rupee notes are being sent out of circulation, directionally it's a good thing because such a high denomination encourages black money. It makes it easier to hide the notes. So directionally, surely you have to say that this is the right thing. You were asking earlier, why does the government have a 2,000 rupee note? Several in the Congress asked that. At least directionally, would you say that's a good thing? And secondly, to Sanju's point about digital transactions actually skyrocketing post-demo, suggesting that the economy is getting more formalized than earlier.
Exactly.
No, so firstly, let me just first point out, I told you so. We told you so in 2016 that 2,000 rupee note is too big a denomination. Do not bring it in. But that was the time when media was looking for nano chips in those 2,000 rupee notes, remember? So let us first not forget what we told you so. I don't want to be heckled. I don't want anybody to interrupt because I listen to people patiently.
Sanju Verma, let us speak. Sanju Verma, you can't speak over. Sanju's fader goes down. Sanju, you've spoken enough. Let Supriya counter you. Yes, Supriya.
So we told you so way back in 2016. We said 2,000 rupees, too big a denomination, don't launch it. You still went ahead and launched it. You do not listen to people. Demonetization has come a full circle. What digital payments are you talking about? Given the size of our economy right now, the cash in economy is 37 lakh crore rupees. And as a percentage of the GDP, as a percentage of the economy, it is a lot higher than what it was in 2016. So stop lying to the people blatantly. And even now, when I say trigger happy and when I say knee-jerk reactions, even now, an honest taxpayer may have 2 lakh rupees lying at home, but they have to make 10 visits to these centers or banks or wherever else this is going to be exchanged. Why? Why can this not be done properly? Notes are demonetized. They have been demonetized in India before. They are demonetized in UK. They are demonetized in US. There's a window that's given to the people. Why this constant suspicion that Indians are dealing in cash? I mean, what is the deadline? I want to understand that. And please don't give the government cover fire saying directionally. 7 years it has taken them for them to dawn what mistakes they have made with demonetization, something that achieved nothing and ruined the Indian economy thanks to demonetization.
Saurav Majumdar, this idea that you can only return 20,000 rupees at a time, so 10 notes can be returned, your sense on that, because that just sounds terribly inconvenient. I mean, I can imagine my mother, she may have 50, 60, 70,000 rupees. I hope she's not watching right now, lying at home somewhere. We have, like, in our house, we have very little cash. My mom will have some cash. It's just the way, older people are. And now she'll have to go multiple number of times to the bank to try and return that. Why can't she return it in one go?
Yes, I think that's...
She'll have 15, 20, but that's still going to be painful to go again and again and have to return it. Let Saurav Majumdar speak.
Yes, that's a fair point, Rahul. I think it needs to be relooked, but I'm not sure whether RBI will do that. But I think the overall direction is to ensure that you don't have, if people have too many of these notes lying around, that itself raises a red flag. Now, I think there is also, some clarification which is coming about whether they will continue to be legal tender or not, and that's something maybe we can discuss after 30.
So, what's your sense right now? Will it stay? I'm looking at different reports being filed by different people, both saying different things. What's your best sense at this moment? Does it stay legal tender or does it not stay legal tender?
I think, Rahul, I think after 30th of September, there's very clear in this part of the notification, at least it says very clearly will remain legal tender. Now, I do not think RBI has specified it will remain legal tender only up to September 30. That just needed a few more words.
Is that your understanding as well?
No. There is a very clear point. Even if it remains legal tender, it loses public trust as a medium of exchange. Traders won't accept it. People won't stock it.
Yes.
That is a big issue. But of course, the RBI and the government can argue that, well, we have given you a window and an extension is always possible. So there is going to be a significant impact on banks. Banks will once again be flushed with 3.62 lakh crore. We saw the impact on the banking system when that huge amount of money happened in 2016. That's a broader macro point. And the second point really is the impact on trade. As far as I would say, since pink is the new black, post September 30th or even after the extended deadline, the 2000 note will simply be a piece of paper.
Okay, I want to get some reactions from our reporters on the ground. Devankur Vadavan joins us from Jaipur. Anirban joins us from Kolkata. Devankur, very quickly, what are people making of this decision by the Reserve Bank of India?
Well, Rahul, there is a sense of anxiety on the ground whether people will have to once again stand in long queues, the kind that the one witnessed in 2016. I will straight away go to some of the people, get in the voices from the ground. 2000 रुपए के नोट आरबीआई ने फैसला लिया है कि नए नोट सर्कुलेशन में नहीं आएंगे, पुराने नोट्स जो हैं वो लीगल टेंडर रहेंगे सितंबर 30 तक। पर क्या आपको ये एंग्जाइटी है कि वो नोट्स जो है जो आपके पास है दोबारा से क्लैमर हो सकता है नोट्स डिपॉजिट करने के लिए?
अगर बात करें 2000 के नोट की तो प्रेजेंट सर्कुलेशन में आई डोंट थिंक कि इतने ज़्यादा नोट्स हैं 2000 के, और अभी हमारे पास टाइम भी है, आई थिंक 4 मंथ्स समथिंग है, तो 4 मंथ्स आई थिंक इनफ है किसी भी पर्सन के लिए अगर वो इन्फॉर्म है और उसके पास जो 2000 के जो नोट है वो अपने बैंक में जाके डिपॉजिट।
आरबीआई का जो फैसला है, सरकार का फैसला है, आरबीआई के थ्रू कम्युनिकेट किया गया है, इसके पीछे की मंशा क्या लग रही है? क्या लगता है कि ब्लैक मनी कर्व करने के लिए किया जा रहा है?
जी ऑफ कोर्स सर, इसके लिए ये जो डिसीजन लिया गया है इसके लिए ऑफ कोर्स बड़े बड़े इकोनॉमिस्ट उनकी कमेटी बैठ के सोच समझ के डिसीजन लिया गया होगा, तो जो ये लिया गया इसे बिल्कुल ब्लैक मनी भ्रष्टाचार जैसे मुद्दों पे काबू पाने के लिए लिया होगा, क्योंकि 2000 के रुपये की जो नोट की वैल्यू है वो बहुत बड़ी है। तो जो छोटे कॉपी नोट बनते हैं छोटे नोट के, उनसे उनकी अपेक्षा 2000 के नोट की कॉपी बनती है कहीं ना कहीं, तो वो भ्रष्टाचार में
Let's get a reaction from Anirban as well. Anirban is in Kolkata. Anirban, do you want to tell us what people in Kolkata are saying about this government decision? Does it really impact them as much? My mom just messaged, she's watching at this time, she says, I don't have 2000 rupee notes. Don't spread rumors about me, which is cool, chill. So I realized that, but people do have. I mean, if you go to our ATM right now in office, some of the notes that will come out in a 10,000 rupee transaction will also be 2000 rupee notes. So Anirban, what are you picking up from the ground?
See, the people are a little bit anxious about the decision because as the result of 2016, when the demonetization happens, there is a long queue in near the ATMs and banks. So
okay, stay with me for a moment. I want to go across to former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. He's joining us from his constituency live at this moment. Mr. Chidambaram, your first reaction as former Finance Minister to this government's decision, which they say will help clean up the economy, reduce the presence of high denomination notes. Mr. Chidambaram.
This is the usual spin which is given by government, and the RBI plays along with the government. 2000 rupee note was never a clean note. A clean note is a note which is widely used, popular, and millions of people use that note for a daily buying and selling. 2000 rupees was always a dirty note. It was only kept by people to store their black money temporarily until they converted the black money. So it was a very convenient temporary storage for people who were storing the black money in 500 and 1000. They were very conveniently storing it to 2000. To call it a clean note, I mean, you say it is a dirty note and you're cleaning it up by withdrawing the dirty note.
But directionally, you'd agree that this is the right thing to have done. Maybe it's happened a little late, but they're pressing in the right direction.
Obviously, it was a wrong thing to have introduced the 2000 rupee note. It is certainly the right thing to withdraw the note, even after 7 years. It was totally wrong to introduce it in the first place.
One of the things the government is saying, this will clean up the election process. A lot of these 2000 rupee notes are used by netas for poll financing. There are big elections towards the end of the year, general elections next year. They think this will help clean up the electoral process.
Have they discovered this only after they lost the Karnataka election? They didn't discover this when 5 state elections took place a few months ago. I mean, this government comes up with ad hoc and foolish responses. The honest thing to say is, we made a mistake in demonetization. We compounded the mistake by introducing 2000 rupee notes. We made the mistake worse by not recalibrating our ATMs. Now that we know that 2000 rupee notes were never popular, it was not a widely used medium of exchange, we now accept the criticism that was made by me and others in November 2016, and we are withdrawing the 2000 rupee note. And just as I predicted, they introduced the 500 rupee note after a few weeks of demonetization. I will not be surprised if they reintroduce the 1000 rupee note.
But why do you feel that way? Because they're directionally going away from big denomination notes, so there's no need to bring a 1000 rupee note.
Please understand, with higher per capita income and inflation and larger volume of trade, including internal trade, buying and selling, it is necessary to have a decent denomination note. Once upon a time, 10 rupees, 50 years ago, 10 rupees was a decent denomination note which could buy most things. But 100 rupees, if I remember right, about 25 years ago, a 100 rupee note was a good enough note to buy and sell on a daily basis. Today, 500 is the most popular medium of exchange, and 1,000 rupees would be necessary, at least in urban areas. Whether they introduce 1,000 rupees or not is their decision. But I will not be surprised if they reintroduce the 1,000 rupee note.
Okay, you're saying they should have done it earlier, but directionally it's the right thing to do, but you're also making the point that they're correcting their own mistake. Mr. Chidambaram, for joining us, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. I want to go across to Krishnamurthy Subramaniam, currently Executive Director at the International Monetary Fund. Before this, he's been Chief Economic Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Subramaniam, welcome. This is something which is being attacked by the opposition. They're saying, A, this was a mistake in the first place. All you've done is clean up your own mistake.
Let me get on, talk about the economics, Rahul. If we look at the amount of money in circulation, that was in 2000 rupee notes. As of March of 2018, the amount was 6.7 lakh crore. Today, and this is RBI data, that amount has come down to 3.6 lakh crore, which means the residual, which is 3.1 lakh crore, has been hoarded, in stashes by various individuals, and you would recall, in a recent raid that happened, in West Bengal, what one saw was basically all pink-colored notes, which are actually, mountains of pink-colored notes, which are 2000 rupee notes. So that just adds to the fact that, this 3.1 lakh crore has been actually hoarded. Second point, and this is something, I was hearing the four-time finance minister, Mr. Chidambaram, do his usual, I'm going to not name it, but I remember him actually laughingly talking about, how can you expect a vendor on the street using digital transactions? What he laughed about is today a reality. If I want to drink a cup of tea as well, just pay, 6 or 7 rupees or 10 rupees, I can pay using digital payments. So common folks, people like you and me, we all make, digital transactions. We use digital money for transactions. In other words, money as a medium of exchange, which is what economists talk about. That is something that has been clearly enabled using digital transactions.
No, India sure. So there is no quarrel about the fact that digital transactions are going up, and thumbs up for that.
Yes.
The point that we were discussing, for example, just the practical modality of having to queue up each time you want to return 20,000 rupees, right? Because only 10 notes can be returned at one time. Now, somebody could have a lakh or two lying at home, and now you need to go, say, 10 times or 5 times to the bank to do it. Why can't the limit be more reasonable by, say, 1 lakh or 1.5 lakhs can be returned in one go instead of going again and again?
There is a good reason for that, Rahul, because, think about, the key economic motive behind this, which is, to sort of bring out the hoarded cash. If you keep the threshold at 1 lakh, suppose somebody is holding, let's say, a crore or 10 crores of cash, with 20,000, he has to, that individual or maybe that collection of individuals has to make 5 times more transactions compared to if you keep the threshold at 1 lakh or if you keep it at 10 lakhs, basically that is, 50 times as much. And the way that you ferret out, some of the hoarded cash is by making it, really inconvenient, increasing the threshold for people, the number of hoops they have to go through in order to actually convert this. And therefore, there is, sound economic logic. And as I was saying, earlier, and that is why I was coming to the use of digital transactions. I don't know when you used a 2,000 rupee note. In the last 5 years, I don't remember, keeping a 2,000 rupee note.
No, but it comes out of the ATM even now. Sir, it comes out of the ATM even now in many banks. So it's not as if you're looking for a 2,000 rupee note. Even when you're taking out a 10,000 rupee note, and even if you're taking out 10,000 rupees at one time, oftentimes it just comes out of the bank ATM.
No, but the fundamental question to ask is, when was the last time you went and withdraw something from the ATM? I did not. I use digital money. Mostly I don't even carry any cash in my wallet, and there are many people who do the same as well. So only if you need cash do you actually.
Rahul Srivastava had a quip. Dr. So Rahul Srivastava had a quip. He says maybe somebody else is paying your bills and you don't need to take out money and go give it each time like lesser mortals do. Yes, Siddharth.
Siddharth Zarabi here. Good to see you. What happens to currency in circulation when you issue 4 times the note equivalent to 3.62 lakh crore? How does that square off with the overall policy objective of reducing cash in circulation?
So I think, the use of digital money has really raised the use of digital money as a percentage of overall transactions that are happening. And as the RBI data shows, the 2000 rupee note, which was about 40% of cash in circulation in March 2018, that has come down, by a quarter. Actually, by 4 times, it has become 10%, which means the 2000 rupee note is not being used as a medium of exchange. It's being used primarily for hoarding money, and therefore, it does not affect the primary function of money, which is as a medium of exchange.
So that's a good point. I want to get, thank you Dr. Subramanian for joining us. I want to get Supriya Shrine from the Congress to respond to this, that at this moment, the 2000 rupee note is not being used, Supriya, for exchange. It's being used as a medium for hoarding, and therefore, if the 2000 rupee note is removed from circulation, that is actually a good thing. What we're seeing is a good thing according to Dr. Subramanian, not something to be quarreling about. You can say that it's happened late, should have happened earlier, etc., etc. That may be true, but it's not something which is wrong, and even Mr. Chidambaram agrees with that.
No, Rahul, I never said it was wrong. I said the government was wrong to begin with introducing a 2000 rupee note. They blundered, and we have paid a price for that blunder. And people can come and sing peals of demonetization here. This government celebrates anniversary of everything. Why do they never celebrate the anniversary of demonetization? Because it was the most draconian decision ever taken. I will just make one brief point though, Rahul, and I think this point needs to be debated. When you have these periodic, unplanned, trigger-happy things happen in the Indian economy, it shakes the confidence in our own currency. And I will tell you the repercussions of this. Go back and see demonetization, and go back and see how gold imports rose very sharply, because people start hoarding money in gold, or worse still, they start buying dollars overseas through Hawala and all of that. I shudder to think this shakes the confidence in our currency, which is already under pressure. And I think which is why the government needs to have a more planned, detailed decision making and not have draconian steps. I never said it's right or wrong. All I said was
Sanju Verma, respond to this. Two things. One, why is the limit so low? Just 20,000 rupees, which means that if you want to return, say 40, 50, 67,000 rupees, you have to go again and again to the banks. That sounds terribly inconvenient. Secondly, this is, as Mr. Chidambaram says, just rectifying a self-goal that you brought this note, which should have never been brought. It was against your stated intent. Now you are just correcting your own mistake.
Rahul, let me be very clear. First and foremost, that on the 2nd of January this year, the Supreme Court, via a majority judgment, actually upheld the demonetization decision taken by the Modi government in 2016. Point number two, there was only one dissenting judge, and even she only questioned the execution, not the bona fide intent of the decision in the first place. Point number three, you say, how many times will a person have to go to bank? I want to ask you something. 3.6 lakh crore worth of 2000 rupee notes are in circulation, which you said corroborated by your other panelists. Now you tell me, how many transactions need to be done in a 2000 rupee note to achieve 3.6 lakh crore?
No, but each transaction can only be 20,000 rupees. I'm sure the data intelligence unit will do the maths, but...
Rahul, can you please, what is wrong with you? Why are you heckling me? I'm saying, with an upper threshold of 20,000 rupee per transaction, I want to ask you basic arithmetic. How many transactions overall need to be done over the next 4 months to reach 3.6 lakh crore? Can any of your panelists tell me that? Because you're making a big hoo-halla about it.
Okay,
tell me the number of transactions needed. Tell me the number of transactions needed. It is less than 2 lakh and you're making such a big show about it. Please talk numbers with me. I want to ask you one more thing. I asked you at the beginning of the show, what is the total volume of notes today in the current country? It is 13,053 crore. How many 2000 rupee notes are there? 214 crore 2000 rupee notes, which is only 1.6% of the total volume of notes in circulation. So Rahul...
No, but why look at volume of notes? You have to look at value of notes. Volume of notes. Why are you looking at volume of notes? Obviously, if it's 2000 rupees, look at the value of the note.
Why have you become a heckler? Why have you started heckling?
Hey, madam, if I say something, you are saying heckling. You are saying, if it's a 10 rupee note, you can look at the volume of notes. If it's 2000 rupee, you look at value of note, not volume of note.
Let me even talk about value. Let me talk about value. What is the value of total notes in circulation? Please give me the number, Rahul.
3.6 lakh crores, right? 3.6 lakh crores.
Sanju,
Total value of notes in circulation, Siddharth and Rahul, please correct yourselves. Total value of
33
notes
lakh
in
crores.
This is
circulation.
10% of the total. So
Can I finish? Rahul Srivastav is
You are
right.
asking a
Total
question,
value of
then when
notes
somebody
in
gives you the
circulation
answer,
is
you are saying,
32
why are you
lakh
speaking?
crore.
Yeah, that's what he's
Total
saying.
value of notes in circulation is 32 lakh crore. Total value of 2000 rupee notes in circulation in value terms is only 10%, about 3.6 lakh crore. Total percentage of 2000 rupee notes in terms of volume in circulation is 1.6. If you look at value, it is 10%. If you look
Okay,
at
okay.
volume, it is
Rahul, I wanted to make a
1.6%.
small point
Okay, so
here.
Sanju's
what is the big
monopolizing this. The
What
big
is the
deal.
big
The
deal?
big deal is that
What is
maybe
the
this
big
note
deal?
should have never been introduced. That's point
It is
number
a
one.
calibrated withdrawal.
Okay,
I
you're calling
repeat,
it.
it is a calibrated withdrawal.
Sanju, you can't foist your
I
opinion on
repeat, it
everyone.
is a
Okay, we've heard you. Her
calibrated
fader goes
withdrawal.
down.
It is
Sanju Verma, you have as much of a right to speak as do others on the show. You are foisting your view on the others. You've spoken. Give everyone else an opportunity. I'm running out of time. Supriya Srinath, 15 seconds to conclude.
You know, because I used to look at stocks, look at the US dollar and that's selling in cash right now in the other markets, 87.7. Look at where gold and silver are. And that tells you why this government needs to think through decisions. 87.7% in the cash market for the US dollar. That's not good news for our currency, and you wait and see what happens tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'm going to wrap up. 10 seconds each. Rahul Srivastav and Siddharth Zarabi.
Rahul, what Mr. Subramanian said, that if people take large volumes, it will take them long time. The same thing was said in 2016. Didn't work out. All the money came back virtually. Second, this is not a popular currency among the masses, but in trading and retail and the wholesale world, this is the currency to be dealt with. 10% of your economy's cash in circulation will definitely have ripples in the system. It will cause setbacks, Rahul. It did last time around in 2016. This is an economy recovering from COVID and other setbacks. I think it will create shocks.
well, the economic impact will pan out, but it's very clear that there is going to be a mix. People, those who are black money holders, and if they get caught, that's fine, but there is going to be a significant impact. More importantly, on the banking system, with all that new currency being brought into circulation. So, the final point really, Rahul, at this stage is, as of now, I don't think anyone will be willing to take a 2000 rupee note.
Okay.
The promissory nature and the trust in that note has been done away with, and that's the government's
decision.
decision.
It's unlikely that any trader tomorrow, you go to him with a 2000 rupee note, say it's valid till the 30th of September. He's going to say, nah, Baba, nah, apne ko nahi chahiye. I'm going to keep my hand, you go give it to the bank, you give it to the RBI. Anyway, you heard different points of view. You heard from Mr. Chidambaram, you heard from the BJP, you've heard from our editors. We will track this story very, very closely.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.